W8VPV repeater. W8VPV. Repeater. Net.
Good evening, and welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club's Monday evening transmission of Amateur Radio Newsline. My name is Russ, and my call is KDA-BYT. But for this presentation of Newsline, I will be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. Without further ado, this is Amateur Radio Newsline.
Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2416 with a release date of Friday, February 16th, 2024. To follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST. Hams in South Carolina rally for antenna rights. Australia prepares for its new licensing arrangements. A simplex net provides a safety net in Hawaii. All this and more is Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2416. Comes your way right now.
From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's independent, on-the-air news and bulletin service. And now reporting from Valparaiso, Indiana, here's Paul Brown, WD9GCO.
We begin this week in South Carolina, where hams are planning to rally on the 21st of February for a bill that would remove private land restrictions for some amateur radio antennas. This is one state of many throughout the U.S. where such restrictions are a paramount concern. Kevin Troutman, N5PRE, has that report.
A rally is planned at the State House in Columbia, South Carolina, as a show of support for the Amateur Radio Antenna Protection Act, which 8 Republican lawmakers are introducing into session that day. The bill is designed to ensure amateur radio operators rights to install antennas that let them get on the air effectively. According to an email sent to amateurs in the state from E. Gordon Mooneyham, W4EGM, of the ARRL's South Carolina section, a strong presence by radio operators will go a long way toward making several points in favor of the measure's passage, calling ham radio, quote, an incubator for education, exploration, and experimentation within the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics fields, unquote. Gordon also noted that active hams have provided some 6,000 hours of volunteer community service during the past 2 years. He said that although most log periodic antennas and satellites used for TV reception over the air are more obtrusive, homeowners associations, or HOAs, have imposed restrictions that bar even the simplest amateur radio antennas, providing an obstacle to short and long-range emergency communications. The widespread concern about HOAs and amateur radio in many states throughout the U.S. has led to the introduction of the Amateur Radio Parity Act, which would provide antenna protection on the federal level. The U.S. Congress has not yet acted upon the bill. which is opposed by many HOAs. This is Kevin Trotman, N5PRE.
Meanwhile, in Washington, D.C., a new effort to grant sweeping protection across the country was introduced into the U.S. Senate. The bipartisan measure would mandate that private homeowners associations accept the installation of outdoor ham radio antennas. The Amateur Radio Emergency Preparedness Act of 2024 was presented by Senator Roger Wicker, a Mississippi Republican, and Senator Richard Blumenthal, a Connecticut Democrat. The measure underscores the value of ham radio's life-saving potential during natural disasters and other emergencies, such as hurricanes, that are common in both of the sponsoring lawmakers' home states. A new way of handling and issuing amateur radio licenses is about to take effect in Australia. John Williams, VK4JJW, tells us what's changing and what's not.
A new era in amateur radio licenses dawns in Australia on the 19th of February as the Australian Communications and Media Authority implements the new class licence arrangements. The transition from apparatus licenses requires no action for most hams, but holders of recently renewed amateur apparatus licenses may be eligible for a prorated refund from surrender of those licenses. The changes include the administration of examination services by the ACMA and a new accreditation process for examiners that's intended to increase the availability of assessors to those wishing to sit the exams. That process includes working with volunteer assessors who previously supported from the Australian Maritime College to bring them on board with the new ACMA arrangements. The college's services to the ACMA do not extend past the 18th of February. The overseas amateurs visiting Australia class licence is to be available to those amateurs whose licence is conformant with the HAREC standard under CEPT arrangements. Operators from overseas whose licenses are not HAREC compliant may be eligible upon application to operate under an amateur class licence for 365 days if they meet certain qualifications. The arrangements have been designed to minimise the cost of licenses for ham radio operators and to reduce the regulatory burden on the ACMA. Repeater and beacon licensing remains unchanged as apparatus licenses. This is John Williams, VK4JJW.
Satellite partners in Europe will soon be reaching out to hams for suggestions for the next payload in geostationary orbit. We have those details from Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
The European Space Agency expects to engage in dialogue soon with the amateur radio operators about a proposal for a geostationary satellite payload that would serve as a follow-up to QO100. The ESA, the IARU, and various members of the AMSAT community began pursuing the concept last year. At the recent FOSDEM 2024, held on the first weekend of February in Brussels, ESA's Frank Zeppenfeld, PD0AP, announced that ESA's Satellite Communications Group is now actively seeking the ham community's input, especially from those operators familiar with SDRs. The ESHALE-2 Qatar QO100 satellite was launched in November 2018, carrying the first amateur radio transponders to be in geostationary orbit. This is Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
Congratulations to Joe's Jacob, VU2JOS, who received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the North Bengal Amateur Radio Society for 50 years of involvement in radio that included broadcast DXing and, later, amateur radio. The award was presented to him on the 13th of February, which was World Radio Day. Licensed since 1985, he has participated in nearly a dozen D-expeditions by the National Institute of Amateur Radio. An accomplished D-expeditioner and veteran contester has become a silent key. We hear about him from Jack Parker, W8ISH.
When it came to contesting or participating in D-expeditions, Bob Alphin, K4UEE, could often be found at the center of activity. He'd been involved in D-expeditions that traveled to most of the DXCC Top 10 Most Wanted locations. He was also a CQDX Hall of Famer and a competitor in 2 World Radio Sport Team Championships. Bob became a silent key on the 10th of February at his home in Georgia of kidney failure and Merkel cell carcinoma. According to a posting on DX World, Bob's participation in 10 major de-expeditions over the years helped the team log more than 1.25 million QSOs, many of them from rare locations. He was also an avid contester, qualifying for the WRTC events in 1996 and 2000. 38 of his de-expeditions during the mid-'80s and into the early 2000s were for contestings. He also held a call sign at VU3RQA and was a member of the VU7RG Lecture Whip de-expedition organized by the National Institute of Amateur Radio in India. Bob was a member of the First Class Operators Club and the Southeastern DX Club Hall of Fame. At the time of his death, Bob served as president of the KP1-5 project, which advocates for the environmentally sensitive use of amateur radio in Navassa and Diciccio Islands by coordinating efforts with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. Bob was 79. This is Jack Parker, W8ISH.
One of the founders of the DMR network, known as TGIF, has become a silent key. A notice posted on the network website reports that Mitch Savage, EA7KDO, died on the 6th of February. No other details were given. The TGIF net that was held on Friday, February 9th, was dedicated to him. Mitch wrote on his page on QRZ.com that he got his amateur radio license in 1964. He was an active ham, gravitating into digital radio starting in 2016. He was most active on DMR, Fusion, D-Star, P25, NXDN, and WiresX. He relocated to Spain from Texas in 2017, and in October of 2018, he became one of the founding fathers of the TGIF network, which grew out of a net that the group originally held on a Brandmeister talk group. A message on the TGIF site said, quote, "Mitch leaves behind a remarkable contribution to ham radio and beyond," end quote. Time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the North Coast Amateur Radio Club's N8NC repeater in Northeast Ohio on Sundays at 8 p.m. local time during the weekly information net. An antenna system has received high marks for its ability to communicate with large numbers of satellites around the clock. Dave Parks, W8VPV, gives us those details.
Tests of a digital phased array antenna system in Fairbanks, Alaska, showed it to be capable of handling more than 300 satellite contacts daily and doing it around the clock, according to the company that developed it. In reporting the results on the 7th of February of its 3 months of testing, L3 Harris Technology said that the prototype system also demonstrated the ability to handle as many as 8 contacts at the same time. L3 Harris senior scientist Brian Hammond later issued a statement saying the company was very pleased with the results. L3 Harris has said that this kind of technology will prove especially useful in helping to achieve simultaneous horizon-to-horizon communications. It is also able to reduce any RFI it locates. L3 Harris developed the array in response to government and commercial customers' needs to reach constellations in different orbital planes, as well as large constellations in low Earth orbit. The research and development was done in agreement with the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration Satellite and Information Service to develop a means of collecting data from an increasing number of satellites in a cost-effective way. I'm Dave Parks, WB8ODF.
Amateurs in Hawaii are rediscovering the power of simplex, especially when they need to rely on making connections in an emergency. Graham Kemp, VK4BB, tells us how they are accomplishing this.
It's just for practice, and it's just for fellowship too. But a monthly meetup of hams on the Hawaiian island of Oahu holds greater potential than just the regular check-ins and discussions of local news events. This is the Leeward Simplex Radio Net, and it grew from a rag chew into a net after the radio operators realized their on-air activity presented a great opportunity to keep the community, county, and state connected during a crisis on the island without relying on repeaters. Stacey Holbrook, KH6OWL, one of the net control operators, told Newsline, during a recent impromptu Friday night net, one station made a 26-mile contact to the north shore of the island, an important connection that could prove vital in passing traffic and information in emergencies. The next leeward simplex net will be held on Friday, the 23rd of February. Stacey and the other net control operators, Todd, KH6TOD, and Alan, W8VPV, are hoping to see the number of participants grow so everyone is prepared in an emergency. The hams believe in simplex so much that they participate in a separate net using WinLink to send emails or messages from their computers over the radio digitally without relying on external power or the internet. The next scheduled simplex WinLink net will be on Sunday, February 18, and the operators will practice sending safe-at-home messages. Stacey told Newsline that these small nets play a big role in making this island more resilient. He said a heavily populated place like Hawaii, with such an isolated location in the middle of the Pacific, must always be prepared. This is Graham Kemp, VK4BB.
Sometimes an emergency response plan isn't complete without amateur radio. Recognizing this, a number of first responders in West Virginia are looking to change things. Patrick Clark, KATAC, has that report.
When emergencies happen, the Upshur County Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Management and Upshur County Community Emergency Response Team are at the ready. Now, however, they're looking to become even more responsive by adding amateur radio to their resources. The groups recently announced a new effort to create a club that would include amateur radio operators and others with an interest in ham radio. In an announcement made jointly on social media, they opened the door to anyone living in Upshur and surrounding counties. The group's first meeting will be held on the 21st of February at the Buchanan Public Safety Complex. An amateur radio license is not required to join the new club, which will provide classes, hold public events, and provide training in emergency communications. The club organizers hope to affiliate eventually with the ARRL and Amateur Radio Emergency Services. This is Patrick Clark, KATAC.
In the world of DX, be listening for Bernard, DL2GAC, who is operating as H44MS in the Solomon Islands until the end of April. He is on HF using single sideband and FT8. QSL via Club Logs OQRS. Listen for Baruch S53BV on the air holiday style as 5R8BV from Nosy B, Iota number AF057, Madagascar, from the 17th of February until the 3rd of March. He is operating on 80 and 40 meters using CW and single sideband. QSL via Club Logs OQRS or direct to home call. David, OK6DJ, will be on the air from the 20th to the 27th of February from Mauritius Island, Iota number AF049. He is using the call sign 3B8/OK6DJ, QSL via Club Logs OQRS. Listen for Sylvia, OM4AYL, who is on Pemba Island, Iota number AF063 in Tanzania, using the call sign 5H4AYL. Sylvia will be on the air from the 18th to the 28th of February on 80 through 10 meters using single sideband, CW, and FT8. For QSL, visit QRZ.com. We end this week by sharing an event that evokes nostalgia and good warm sound on the air. If you took part in this year's AM Rally, the annual celebration of the original ham radio voice mode, you were not alone, as we hear from Selembi, KB3TZD.
There was a strong showing among hams who took part in the operating event known as the AM Rally on February 3rd through the 5th. For some operators, it celebrated the special fondness they have for the voice mode that predates single sideband. Other operators were curious to see how their homebrew, tube, military, or modern rigs would perform, and many ended up making their first AM contacts. Organizers said weekend participation was strong on 20, 40, and 75 meters. Clark, N1BCG, one of the organizers, said he heard one AM contact from the UK on 10 meters. Extra excitement was generated by the participation of W1AW, the station at the headquarters of the ARRL in Connecticut. Hams were encouraged to log contacts, but it wasn't required. Friendly ragchew and good memories were, of course, mandatory. This is Selembi, KB3, TZD.
Don't forget the Amateur Radio Newsline Haiku Challenge. If you're not too busy tuning your antennas or chasing the latest DXpedition, pick up a pencil and share your experience by sending an original haiku to us here at Newsline. Use the entry form on our website, arnewsline.org, and please follow the rules for writing your 3-line haiku. Sorry, but we cannot accept any entries that aren't written in traditional haiku form. With thanks to the Australian Communications and Media Authority, Amateur Radio Daily, the ARRL, Clark Burgard, N1BCG, CQ Magazine, David Behar, K7DB, DX World, E. Gordon Mooneyham, W4EGM, 425DX News, FOSDEM, the North Bengal Amateur Radio Society, QRZ.com, shortwaveradio.de, spacenews.com, Stacy Holbrook, KH6OWL, DGIF Network, Wireless Institute of Australia, Worldwide DX, YouTube, and our listeners. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind our listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer, non-profit organization that incurs expenses for its continued operation. If you wish to support us, please visit our website at arnewsline.org and know that we appreciate you all. We also remind our listeners that if you like our newscast, please leave a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Paul Brown, WD9GCO in Valparaiso, Indiana, saying 73. As always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2024. All rights reserved.
This concludes our Monday evening transmission of Amateur Radio Newsline. Net to start in about 9 minutes.
Yeah, back to net from AFHC.
AFHC, W8 Victor Mike. Well, as we continue to build up in the former areas that the animals had owned, or whatever it is, that's not the right word, but taken possession of, I guess, we're going to see more and more of them. I remember years ago when we lived in Grafton, we went for a walk one night down the street, and here's this mother raccoon getting all of her babies out of a certain tree, and they had started to cut it, but they left it be. I think they saw the raccoons in there. Well, she was hauling them on down and taking them somewhere else, so we just went on with the walk and left it go. But as we eliminate the trees and things like that, we eliminate their habitat, and it's rough on them, especially with the deer. I see one community was, I don't know where it was, but they were doing some deer culling this week, and of course that brings up, there's a lot of controversy over that. A lot of people are against it, and some are for it, so I don't know, but knock on wood, I've not had a problem with deer in the automobile yet. My son has had that several times, and he, on his van, I think he had clipped 2 deers, and then the next time he ended up totaling the van. So, and then he bought another car, and then he got one with that. Of course, then he wonders why his insurance is going up. So anyway, enough comments on that. I'll get off the soapbox. So let's move along to Ken, W8KH, W8 Victor Mike.
W8KH. Don't have much to say on this part, but I wonder if Melba's, she didn't check in. I was waiting to her to see how she's doing. She's recuperated there. But
I guess there are too many on the net here. So I'll pass back to you, Tom. This is W8KH.
W8KH, W8 Victor Mike. Okay, Ken, Melba was under the weather last week. She may be listening. If you are listening, Melba, get better quick. We love to hear from you, but you got to do the resting that goes with that. So make sure you get the sleep you need, everything else. But you know all that drill anyway. Okay, now let's get on to Kevin. K8VUS, W8 Victor Mike.
Okay, W8 Victor Mike, this is K8VUS.
FL Disney message in MT63QKL format. Ask for reception reports, and then give the opportunity to anyone who would like to the chance to send a message of their own. And I will be doing that message in approximately 1 minute.
Out there, this is EB8MO. I'll listen out.
Alright, sounds good. I'll give you a call. It'll probably be a couple minutes here. This charger for my laptop seems to be broken. I'm going to have to go find the other one. And we can go from there. That stinks. I'm going to have to fix that. It looks like the wire got bent one too many times. But, alright. Yeah, thanks for the help, and I'll give you a call in a couple minutes. KE8VKA. I'll be clear with AB8MO. 7-3s.
Tango Mike Yankee. This is Kilo Golf 4, Papa Charlie Juliet.
On 20 meters. This evening he was on 14.5
313. He's also been on 14.286. So if you're interested in another net, that's one I would recommend. Even if you don't want to participate, you can watch it on YouTube and see what the guy does. So anyway, back to net control. W8VM, W8NIN.
W8NIN, W8 Victor Mike. Okay, Mike, thanks for sharing that info. That sounds
Good evening. Calling all amateur radio operators. Welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday night VHF UHF net. My name is Thomas. My call is Kilo Echo 8 Oscar Whiskey X-Ray. However, for the purpose of this net, I'll be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. This is an open and directed net. All amateur radio operators are invited and encouraged to check in. You do not have to be a club member. All traffic will go through net control, and since emergency traffic may break in at any time, please leave a brief pause between transmissions. The purpose of this net is to bring together all amateur radio operators for the exchanging of amateur-related ideas and information to enhance net operating practices and during these times of social isolation to keep members up to date about club happenings. This net meets here every Monday evening at 8:30 p.m. local time, preceded by Amateur Radio Newsline at 8:01. We'll start with check-ins from any officer or member who has announcements of general interest to the club. Once that's complete, we'll take regular check-ins, call signs only, 5 at a time, allowing me time to confirm each call before moving on to the next. Then we'll work through the 5 check-ins and ask for 5 more until we're done. If you're a regular participant, I'll probably recognize you by call sign. If not, please give your call, repeat it phonetically, followed by your name and your location. When all check-ins have been worked, we'll close the net after repeating any announcements. We also operate an HF plus 6 meter band exploration net starting at 9:30 after this net. The approximate frequencies are posted on the web page. Tonight we'll be on 40 meters at approximately 7 Mark 187 megahertz. Please join us if you have the privileges and equipment. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-ins from any officers or other hams with traffic of general interest to the club. Please call now. W03X. W03X, go ahead.
Yes, President Greg, WB8YYS, wanted me to mention to the club members that he sent a card to Anthony W8 K8ZT's people that regarding the death of Anthony and his relatives or his brothers and sisters' mother. Greg can't say that himself this evening because he's running other nets. So he wanted me to convey that information to the club here. This is W03X, back to the net.
Thanks for that announcement there, John. Are there any other announcements for the general interest of the club? Please call now.
Alpha 8 Charlie Oscar, Alpha Charlie 8 X-ray Oscar. Sorry, I'm not having a good night. I need a clarification from John.
Go ahead.
John, could you clarify who passed away? Thank you.
That was Anthony's mother, Anthony Luscre, K-8-Z-T. And she, I guess she lived in Middleton, Ohio, or something like that. It's Middleton. I forget if there's a word before Middleton, Ohio, but something about Middleton, Ohio.
Alpha Charlie 8 X-ray Oscar. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. It was a little bit confusing as to what you initially said. Thank you. And you can check me in.
All right, got you, Vince. Is there any other announcements for the club? Please call now. Hearing nothing, we'll go on to regular check-ins. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor looking for 5 check-ins. Please give me a chance to recognize these call. Please call now.
KD8YAX.
I got you, YAX. Next, please.
K8HMS.
Got you, HMS. 3 more, please.
November Victor 5 Hotel.
I got November Victor 5 Hotel, and I think there was somebody underneath of him. Who was that?
WTK, in and out.
I think that was Bill and Talmadge, in and out. Got you. 1 more, please.
ULA, Leo and Stone. Bill Golf, in and out.
I got ULA, and then there was one that was in and out. I didn't get your call. Please come back.
Kilo Echo 8, Yankee Tango Golf.
YTG, got you. Okay, so we'll go back up to the top of the list we got so far. KE8YX, go ahead.
Was KD8YAX.
Gotcha, Forrest. Do you have anything, or were you just stopping in to say hi? All right, you have a good afternoon for us there. Thanks for stopping by. K8HMS, you're up.
Yeah, okie dokie. Just double checking. I'm on the 440 side. You got a copy on me?
Yeah, there's a pretty good copy on you on the 440 side.
Okay, thank you much. Yeah, you never know being down in the hole here. But anyway, say good evening to everybody. Glad to hear the guys checking in. And it was nice. I happened to run into Frank, W8VPV, at the grocery store today, so it was nice talking to him. And other than that, I guess that's about it. Not much going on. Just enjoyed the ARRL DX contest this weekend. So anyway, thanks for running on the net, and hopefully see you on 40. K8HMS.
Thanks for stopping by. Good to hear you. NV5H, you're up.
Yes, sir. Getting back on the radio. I've been recovering from shoulder surgery and working on a radio in a box and battery in a box project. Finally got that finished and all buttoned up. That bill from Talmadge, did that happen to be Bill Ramsey?
Good.
Well, he's the reason I got involved in ham radio. I went to school with his son, and standing in Talmadge High School parking lot back in the early or mid-'80s, he got on an HT and made a phone call and made an impression, and got my interest started so many years ago.
Well, we're glad you're here, glad you stopped by, and it looks like you're from Mississippi, and you're up here. You gonna be up here for a while?
May firm, I got another 2 to 3 more months of shoulder rehab before I'm cleared to get back on the road and back traveling for our ministry.
Gotcha. Very good. Well, glad to have you. And if you have a chance, stop out to one of our meetings. They're posted on the website. And we're certainly glad to have you here on the net. So good to hear you. Bill, heard you were in and out. So KE8ULA, you're up. Well, I didn't think he was in and out. I thought that was, well, let's double check. KE8ULA, you still out there?
Yeah, sorry about that. This is KE8ULA. I just wanted to send my condolences to Anthony for his loss. K8ZT. I recently lost my mother as well, so I know it can be tough to deal with. That's all I had. Just wanted to send my condolences out to K8ZT. So with that, KE8ULA, back to the net.
All right, yes. Thanks for that, and I'm sure he would appreciate it. KE8YTG, you're up.
Roger. My sympathies to Anthony as well. I think I'm going to probably try to give my hand at CW. I just started a day or two ago, and looking on YouTube to find the best way to learn it. And again, my apology or my sympathies go out to Anthony. Thank you so much for running the net tonight, and good evening everybody else on the net. This is KE8YTG, back to the net. Over.
Well, thanks for dropping by. We're glad you're here. This is W8VPV. We're looking for 5 additional check-ins. Please call now.
KB8VHK.
November 8, November Hotel, Mark and Akron, in and out.
K8PU.
Papa X-ray.
W8RCN.
All right, let's see who I've got. I've got W8RCN. I had 1 ending in Papa X-ray. Please come back with that one.
Kilo Echo 8 Zulu Papa X-ray.
Gotcha. Okay, we had K8PU, N8NH, and KB8, and I believe it was Victor Hotel Kilo. Is that correct?
That's correct. It's John and Kenmore.
All right, John. Well, you're up. Go ahead.
I'm just glad I could make it into the net tonight. I was operating on a little handheld bow thing, trying to get in, but I finally bought a power supply to get my mobile rig out of the truck, which I had to get rid of, and now I'm used to it in the house on a 45-foot tower with a Ringo Ranger. Break for time. I'm a recent joining member of the Cuyahoga Falls Club. I was actually able to attend the business meeting via Zoom last week, which was quite a feat for me since I'm technically illiterate. Other than that, I'm hoping to get into the next meeting on the fourth Wednesday of the month. Other than that, I'm hoping to meet you all soon. I'm getting really excited to see the Winter Ham Fest, and we'll give it back to the net.
Thanks for dropping by. We're glad to have you. N8NH, you're up. That's my mistake. He did say in and out. K8PU, Larry, go ahead.
Good evening, Thomas. Everybody on the net. Yeah, sorry to hear about Anthony. We passed that around at the meeting the other night. Yeah, it's always rough, you know. By the time you get older, like us, most of us guys that are 70, 80s, whatever, you pretty well lost your mother, and we can all sympathize on what that's like. Of course, it's also got a comment that if we got to that age and our mother was still around, we had her for a long time, like mine was, and Anthony's was too. So that's the good side of it. After that, I was going to say about the fellow that the handheld back in the 70s and 80s when we had the touchstone on the phone or on the repeater, made quite an impression when we made a phone call. We didn't have the cell phones, and I got a lot of guys interested in ham radio, as I recall. Okay, Thomas, try to catch you on 40 if my antenna likes me, and I'll see you then. W8VPV, K8PU.
Thanks for stopping by, Larry. Great to have you. K8ZPX, you're up.
Good evening, everybody on the net. I am sorry to hear that about Anthony and his family. Those guys teaching the classes have been really helpful to me. It's sad to hear that. But I won't tie up too many everybody's time, so I'm just in and out.
Well, we're glad you're here, and thanks for stopping by. Feel free to stop by any other time and give a call out there. W8RCN, go ahead.
It's Whiskey Alpha 8, Radio Charlie, November, Jim in Cuyahoga Falls, down about 500 feet down the street from you, Thomas. Yeah, and say evening to you and everybody in the net there, and condolences like everybody's wishing to Anthony there. That's always rough. And yeah, like Ken, we just played around on the ERRL CW this weekend. Had a good time with that. Although we did have a birthday party Sunday afternoon to go to, so I couldn't kind of end it at about noon on Sunday. But anyway, yeah, we got about 800 contacts on CW in about 280 band countries, and you know, that's I think pretty darn good considering all my antennas are on the ground, and I had nothing but a vertical up in the air and a vertical. So that tells you how phenomenal the bands were. I mean, they were just unbelievable. You know. So let's hope the conditions keep going like that for a while. Anyway, that's it from this end. Back over to you, W8VPV, W8RCN.
Good to hear from you, and don't be a stranger there. Let's see, that brings us to the bottom of the list there. So let's see, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. Do we have any additional check-ins? Please call now.
November 8, Whiskey Hotel Romeo, Mike in Brunswick, in and out.
All right, N8WHR got you in and out. Thanks for stopping by. Any more? Please call now.
KV8, KVI, in and out.
KVI got you in and out. Any more, please?
ALQ.
ALQ, I got you. Go ahead.
Well, good evening, everybody. I hope you're having a good week. My week is starting out pretty good because when I got up this morning to have breakfast, I had about a half dozen robins jumping around in my front yard. So maybe our groundhog was wrong and maybe the robins would be right. That would be nice. Hope everybody enjoys your good week. And hopefully we'll catch you next week. This is N8ALQ back to net.
Well, thanks for stopping by, and we all can hope that the groundhog was wrong. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. Looking for any additional check-ins, please call now.
November 8, Bravo Alpha Yankee, Ralph and Stowe, in and out.
Got you in and out, Ralph. Anybody else, please?
I didn't understand the frequency.
Was that you, Forrest? Go ahead.
Yes, it was. I was fishing for the frequency for the next go-round.
Yes. Will be... It's looking... If I can keep my foot on the pedal. It's looking like we'll be somewhere in the vicinity of 7.189. That looks like that'll be clear. But I'll announce probably 10 minutes till a better frequency idea there. Is that good for you there, Forrest? All right, we'll go. Well, I don't have any announcements other than we did send a letter and a card and flowers to Anthony's family. So we'll do last call for check-ins. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. Please call now. WB8CXO, got you, Mike. Anybody else? Hearing none, we'll prepare to close this net. I'd like to thank everybody who took the time to join us and check in tonight. Without your participation, we would not have a net. This has been Kilo Echo 8 Oscar Whiskey X-Ray. It's been my pleasure to host this evening's net. At this time, we'll close the net with 18 check-ins and return the repeater to normal and customary amateur use. We'll announce exact frequency on 40 meters here, about 10 minutes till. So this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor closing the net at 8:53 p.m. local time, 73.
November Victor 5 Hotel to the station that was starting to study CW.
Roger, this is KE8YTG, Steve and Stowe.
Yes, sir. I was just going to let you know I started learning CW at the beginning of the year. Been going through the Long Island CW Club. been extremely helpful to me. If you're interested in it, it's called Long Island CW Club.
Okay, thanks a lot. I copied that. And I was trying the audio way of learning it. Is that the method that they're using? Do you know? Over.
They do it a couple of different ways. They have different carousels. Like the first carousels, it's 8. Teach you what it is, the sound of it, the code talking. But they also have practice.
Tell you what, it's pretty cold up there in Maine this time of the night, man. I'm sure, you know.
And you set it up so you can listen. They listen to you send, and they listen to you to receive. Break. But they have a practice webpage where you can set up just the characters you want to practice, and they'll send it, and you get practice receiving. But the Zoom, on the practice Zoom, as far as sending, it's been very helpful too. Over.
Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I'll give it a shot. I'll take a look at it and see what it's all about. I started with K9KG on YouTube, just following his. He's got about 8 or 9 different sections on that. Also, I'm just taking my time with it, and I don't even have a unit yet. I'm just trying to learn the code itself. So anyway, I appreciate your input. This is Steve and Stowe, KE8YTG, over.
Well, that's clear. They're pretty reasonable. I think it was like $30 for a year, or you can do $90 for lifetime. I've been using just an MFJ oscillator.
Yeah, KG5GIM.
Got you in there. Whiskey Bravo 0, Charlie, Sierra, Fox. Craig, give it to Roger.
Roger.
It's been
got
fun.
You both in there.
Very
Line
patient,
number 19,
Kilo. So it's helped me.
Okay, well, awesome. And I'm gonna 73, and I'm gonna get over to the 40 meter tonight if I can get on it. And I'm looking forward to learning the CW. I didn't think I was going to do it, but I just all of a sudden needed to take on something. So anyway, have a great week, and we'll be talking. Over.
Yes, sir. You're welcome. My name is Ron, and I'm currently in Talmadge for the next couple months. So have a good time on 40 meters. 5 Hotel.
23.
NV5H from WA8RCN.
W8VPV, this is November Victor 5 Hotel.
My name is Jim. I'm in, Cuyahoga Falls. It's the old Northampton Township, actually, out here. They got an X, but just heard you on there, said you were from Mississippi. You wonder where in Mississippi you're from.
I'm originally from here, but I joined the ministry about 18 years ago. Moved down to Kosciuszko. It's about an hour and a half north of Jackson, 2.5 hours south of Memphis. Pretty much smack in the middle of the state, middle of nowhere.
Okay, very good. Yeah. You didn't sound like you were from the South there with no draw or anything, but yeah, my relatives. I don't know if you know where Manatee, Mississippi is. That's the middle of nowhere too. It's northeast corner off the Natchez Trace. They had a 110-acre farm down there. When he retired from Goodyear Tire and Rubber, they went down there and ran for about 20 years, and then they passed away. And we ended up with a farm. We had about 110 acres down there, and it belonged to me and my wife and her brother and sister. And I wanted to go down there and live, but I got outruled. So my wife said, "No way, Jose." It's like, I think the closest city was Eupora, and it was 20 minutes away. If you had to go buy milk and bread or something, And to me, I was in hog heaven. I like to be out in the boonies there. So I think closest neighbor was a mile down the street one way and 2 miles the other or something. But well, you talk middle of nowhere, but I loved it. But didn't last too long, about a year or two. That was it. I got overruled and they sold it.
Actually, I do know where Manatee is. We've got some supporting churches around in there. Our ministry's out of Kosciuszko, which is the big town. We're actually located in Possum Neck. It's 3 miles east of West and outside of Hesterville. The Air Force considered us an uninhabited area, so they dogfight over us from the Columbus Air Force Base.
Yeah, you got me chuckling here, Possum, whatever you said it was. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so you're out there too, kind of in the boonies, and you know, I'm over here. I lived in Stowe for, oh Lord, I don't know how many years, 45, close to 50 or something. Nah, probably 45 years. And I retired, and we bought some land out here. We're about a mile east of Blossom right now. We're on 4 acres, and that's about the closest I can get to being out in the country here with the XYL. She wants to be, you know, near the city, and you know, you got both out here. So we're kind of out here in the boonies, and you know, we can still hunt and shoot a gun and fish and everything out here. I got a big lake in the back, and yeah, we still got the city 10 minutes down the road there. So she's happy, I'm happy, and I guess that's as good as it gets.
Yeah, I do know. I used to work for the sheriff's department before I left, and patrolled Boston Township and Northfield and Twinsburg. So I ran quite a bit around the northern part of Summit County. So I'm familiar where you're at. That's still a nice area out there.
We love it. All the we got, I call it the compound out here. We got 4 of us at around about, I don't know, 20, 25 acres or something. Everybody's got 3, 4, 5 acres, and that's my neighbors, you know. They're all like, I don't know, pretty far apart, you know, 300, 400 feet, 500 feet sometimes. And, you know, there's 4 of us, and we're really good friends, and everybody's great. And everybody, you know, helps everybody. And, you know, I got a big lake in the backyard, it's about an acre, and then the neighbor's got a pond that's about half the size of mine. And, you know, everybody, you know, fishes and swims and does whatever. Yeah, like I said, it's as good as it gets without moving to southern Ohio or Mississippi or something and having an unhappy wife. You know, unhappy wife is an unhappy life, right?
Well, I've heard it 2 ways: happy wife, happy life, happy hubby, he'll be chubby. But I just try to do the best I can and make her as happy as I can. That's still a good area you're out there, though.
We can't complain. We can't complain. You know, and the nice thing, too, is they put in water about 10 years ago. So when we built the house here, we got water, and we got a septic, which isn't a big deal. But everybody told me how bad the well water was. So we got water, city water, and we got a septic. And like I said, we're just kind of out here and having a good time. So I ain't complaining. We're in the process trying to get some antennas up. I started that in the fall, and, geez, it was one thing after another. You know, just trying to get raw materials and supplies and lead times. And so we got the tower up. Got a 60-foot tower that's self-supporting in the backyard and a chunk of concrete that's, I think it's, what is it, 5 by 5 by 6, and it's like 25,000 pounds. And all the beam antennas are on the ground, and got them pretty much ready to go, and then the coax shipment came in, and the guy had the wrong connectors on everything, and I sent it all back to get the right connectors on. And by the time we got all this messing around, cold weather came in, and I just pulled the plug, and I said to me and my buddy, that's it. At the end of October, we're not doing this in November, so you know, we've got a big project facing us now.
Roger. Full got hung up.
Mississippi, but I live in the city. I travel the road 10 months out of the year. So pretty much everything I've got to use, I attached a 32-foot fifth wheel. I have a 5-band Comet rotatable dipole I put up on about a 15, 20-foot, what do you call it, mask that I attached to my ladder. So it's been kind of nice. My dad let me put up a 130-foot and fed dipole at his house. So I've been enjoying doing a little bit of HF.
Well, yeah, whatever it takes. I mean, you do what you got to do. And yeah, I've talked to a few guys that were driving tractor-trailer rigs and had radios in them, you know, low-band radios and stuff. I had a, I'm trying to think how many F-150s that was ago, 3 or 4 ago or something. I had one where I had a TS-830 in there, mounted on the floor. I had a keyer on the seat with a keyer paddle, and it was a 5-speed, I think. And it was a standard, so I was shifting gears and sending code at the same time. And I would travel 15, 20 minutes to work. And I had, I forget what antennas are. Those antennas are, it was on the bumper, and every time I changed band, you had to unscrew one and screw the other one on, you know. They were all like just long poles or whatever. And I worked CW from the truck all the time, and shifting gears and all that, and mostly going through the valley, so it was not a lot of shifting, because you couldn't shift a lot in CW. But man, that had to be I bet you at least 20 years ago, maybe 25, and that's when the bands were good. And man, I had a ball with that thing. I worked all over the world with that 100 watts and that old TS-130 radio I had, all over Europe and Asia and everything. It was just phenomenal.
I just got an HF rig last year. I got a ICOM 7300, and I've been carrying an orange, like Plano box since 2007. I've always wanted to put a radio in a box, and finally got it all self-contained on a shelf I could pull in and out. I finally got that all done this year. I don't do much when I'm driving. Usually just a lot of 240. I got my license down here, but Bill Ramsey is the one that got me interested here back in, I would say, 86, 87. That's who got the bug, and then Katrina came in. That was our second week in Mississippi. That's the event that made me get my license. Just helped out down there.
Yeah, that's what you need, is a good Elmer to get you in the radio. My mother had a friend she worked with, and he got me. I don't know if he's still alive or not. You know, his calls in the what do you call it, the QRZ, the call book thing there, but I don't know if he's alive or not, because my mother passed away, Lord, 8, 9 years ago. Anyway, but yeah, he got me into it, and then I was just a kid. I was like 13 years old, and that's all I did, man. I just had nothing to do with you know, hot rods or cars or girls, and for a long time until about college. And I just, you know, from the time I was 13 until I went to college, I was just, man, eating and breathing and nothing but ham radio. And the bands were just phenomenal back then too. They were just unbelievable. So you know, everybody's got an Elmer that gets them going, and that's a thing to do. When one of my previous jobs in my previous lives here, when I first got out of college, I was a school teacher, Great American History, and this back in the mid-70s, and started a radio club at the junior high, and got a bunch of kids licensed and everything, and half those kids are still licensed today, and they'll give me a buzz now and then, and it makes you feel good, you know.
Bill exposed me back, it was 86, 87. Like I said, during the net, he pulled out an HT. We were in band, I was in band with his son, and he pulled out an HT and made a phone call. I thought that was just the neatest thing. And then 2007, down in Mississippi, and got my ticket. We did a lot of search and rescue down there, and a lot of storm spotting in areas. You know, being out in the middle of nowhere. That's mostly what I did till about a year ago. Then started getting in HF.
That's good. That's cool. That's cool. And yeah, back in the day when excuse me, I first got licensed. I got my novice in '65 and the general in '66. Anyway, and then first 2-meter radio was an HR2B, I think. There was an A and there was a B. I think I had the B. And back then, when we did we do a phone call from a car or something, you had to have you didn't have all these whiz-bang radios like you got now. So we had an external metal box. It had a keypad in it, You would unplug your microphone and plug it in the box, plug the box in the radio, and then you'd hold the key down or the mic down, and you make the access with the touch tone pad. I mean, that's how primitive this was back in the day. And man, like you said, when you did that, people were just flabbergasted. You could make a telephone call, from the car.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. That plane at the Bug, that I guess put the parasite in there and took a few years to blossom. Still like to, I guess, talk with Bill in the air or just let him know. I appreciated him doing that. My wife's got her license now too, so we're keeping it in the family.
Good. That's good for you. That's good for you. Try to get my wife into it and my kids. I had 2 girls, and they're like in their 40s now, and nobody wanted to do it. So I mean, it's just me, and she's been real supportive though. She just do whatever. So it's like okay, and I'm gonna have radio stuff down here at Cuyahoga, and I'm thinking, boy, I die tomorrow. It's like, who knows? She won't know what to do with it. Just well, I hope she don't throw it out anyway. That's a sad thing about this. I got all this and a small fortune and into it all and everything, and I'm the only guy that can play with it. It's not a family activity, but it is what it is, I guess. So, all right. Well, listen, I'm going to run. I'm going to do a couple things and try and get on. I think you said 40 meters here on. Looking at this chart I got here, 71 something, 7187, I guess. Maybe go over there and see what's going on, and then go upstairs, maybe watch some TV till the news and hit the sack. So, hey, great talking to you, Ron, and we'll catch you later on some other time on the repeater or on the air or something, since you're going to be up here for a couple months. NV5H from W8VPV.
Yeah, it's good talking with you. Have a good night. This is November Victor 5 Hotel. Clear.
V5H, KA8WTK. You still blaming me, Ron?
I'm not blaming it. If this is Mr. Ramsey, I am not blaming you. I'm thanking you.
I know, that's me. How have you been? I haven't seen you since you were, Sheriff's Department. Your Sheriff's Department, or maybe even before that, you were volunteering with Talmadge as auxiliary. It's been a long time.
I have been good. I'm up here. I'm at my parents' house in Talmadge right now. I've had some rotator cuff surgery, so I'm recovering from that. About 18 years ago, I quit the Sheriff's Department and joined a children's home ministry. My wife and I spend 10 months out of the year on the road traveling, raising support, raising funds, running it. I oversee 6 orphanages around the world now. But I finally got my license down in Mississippi in 2007. You making that phone call never escaped me, and I finally got my license.
I'm glad to hear it. That's really cool. In fact, I just got off the phone with David. Said, you remember Ron from band? David goes, great big guy. I said, yeah. He says, why? I said, he's on the radio. He's up here at his parents' house. He's had some surgery and he's up here. So he says to tell you hello.
Yes, sir. You pulling that HT out in the parking lot in front of the stadium and calling your wife. I forget what it was, come back from band competition or something. I thought that was just the neatest thing, and always wanted to, but I never took the time until I got to Mississippi, and Katrina happened, and no cell phones, no nothing, and our EMA was ham, and we started an Aries Club. And then my wife got her license so we could talk when we're backing up the trailer. But you are the one that planted the bug, and I'm grateful for it.
Oh, you're welcome. You never can tell. When I was younger, wasn't even in high school, the guys from the Cuyahoga Falls Radio Club used to meet in the Holy Family Church parking lot and do fox hunts. And I like fox hunts today, not like on 2 meters. They were on 6 meters. And I used to ride my bicycle over there and look in the cars and see these big Heath Kit radios sitting on the, bolted down to the transmission hump in the car, and it just was, to me, it was magic. And again, like you, it was years till I got my license, but I never forgot. You know what I mean? You just, that bug gets planted by somebody, or you see something, and later on it comes to fruition. I'm glad you're enjoying it. It's a good hobby.
Well, I want to thank you for getting back on the radio. Something probably since I got my ticket, I wanted to do was able to talk with you on the radio and tell you thank you.
Glad you've had the opportunity. I'm sorry it had to take a surgery. I hope you get to feeling better. I sometimes listen to this repeater over the course of the day when I'm out here, if I'm out here in the shop working on something. So I'll give you a holler a little while later. Let me say you're up here for a few more weeks.
A few more months, at least through April. It's a long road to recover from a rotator cuff, but I'll be at my parents' house. If you see a red truck on Northeast Avenue, it says Lighthouse on it. That's me.
Northeast, huh? I was just out that way. Yeah, I can figure it out. Okay. Cool. I will try and get a hold of you later then. I'll let you go this evening. I got some things to take care of here in the house, and I'll talk to you later, Ron. NV5H, KA8WTK, 7-3, buddy.
W8VPV, I think I got it right. Thank you so much. This is November Victor 5 Hotel.
CQ40, Victor 3 Oscar. This is Victor 3 Oscar calling CQ40. CQ40, CQ40, this is Victor 3 Oscar. This is Victor 3 Oscar calling CQ40. CQ40, this is Victor 3 Oscar. Victor 3 Oscar calling CQ40. Yeah, Kilo India 6.
Kilo India 6, Delta Hotel Lima, your 59 closing to Virginia, Victor Alpha.
Roger, thank you. Kilo India 6, Delta Hotel Lima, 59 also. Thank you. CQ40, this is Victor 3 Oscar. This is Victor 3 Oscar calling CQ40. CQ40, this is Victor 3 Oscar. Victor 3 Oscar calling CQ40. CQ40 meters, this is Victor 3 Oscar. Victor 3 Oscar calling CQ40. CQ40 meters, this is Victor 3 Oscar. Victor 3 Oscar calling CQ40.
KE8OWX, this is W8VPV, over.
3 Oscar, Victor 3 Oscar calling CQ40.
Kilo Golf 5, Oscar Victor.
Oscar Victor.
KE8OWX, go ahead, John.
Yeah, it sounds like somebody just came on to 7.189 megahertz. It sounds okay at 7.192.
Yeah, I think you're correct. We'll go 7.192 and hope that sticks.
This is W8VPV clear.
KE8OWX clear.
Hi guys, Frank here, W8ECT. I hear somebody right on top of it now. This is going to be a problem, but I'm in there when you finally... Maybe that was Thomas, W8ECT.
Oh yeah, there's, I think I hear somebody talking on 7.192 now.
That sounded like Mike Young. Let me get down here and dial it in. Volume down, it just was real low. Good to hear you, Mike. Very good. Well, so far this one's holding. I'll be monitoring this and the frequency, and I think I heard Thomas in there also. All right, sorry I missed earlier. The earlier net just got in. W8ECT, I'll be monitoring both.
T above T M S M T V active.
Yeah, our repeater's dyslexic. We're going to work on that. W8ECT.
W8VPV. Repeater. W8VPV.
Down at Warren, and it's kind of noisy tonight. W8VT here. From what I hear, both of you, of course, Thomas, you're coming in loud and clear, and Mike, you're doing good in there. I got an SWR. Whoops, it just kicked up to ISWR. I may not be long for this. I do not know what's going on. I gotta get out there. All right, I'll be standing by. W8VT. Well, we start here in about 3 minutes. 38 Now, and the filter will help with the audio, but it's pretty loud from here. Yeah, it's pretty loud. There's a lot of background noise here tonight. Welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday night HF 16 meters band exploration net. My name is Thomas. My call sign is Kilo Echo 8 Oscar Whiskey X-Ray. However, for the purpose of this net, I'll be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. This is an open and direct net. All amateur radio operators are invited and encouraged to check in. You do not have to be a club member. All traffic will go through net control. Emergency traffic may break in at any time. Please leave a brief pause between transmissions. The purpose of this net is to bring together all amateur radio operators. members up to date about club happenings. This net meets here every Monday evening at 9:30 p.m. local time, preceded by the VHF-UHF net at 8:30. Approximate frequencies are posted on our website at cmark.org. We didn't really have any announcements other than flowers went to Anthony's family for the passing of his mother. So we'll go ask for any other announcements before moving on to regular check-ins. So this is Whiskey 8 Victor, Papa Victor, looking for any announcements for the benefit of the club. Please call now. W8VPV, go ahead.
So, if you know all of that, you certainly know.
Yeah, the note to go along with the flowers is great. We appreciate President. To regular check-ins, please call now. I got K8HMS. Next, please. I think that was you, Mike. You kind of are fading out there. I'll put you here on the list at UB8CXO. Next, please.
Kilo Echo 8 Yankee Tango Golf, in and out.
I got a Zulu Golf, in and out. Come back again with your call sign.
Roger, Roger. Kilo Echo 8 Yankee Tango Golf, in and out.
This is Whiskey 8 Victor, Papa Victor. Do we have any other check-ins before we go up to the top of the list here?
KHPU.
All right, I got UKAPU. We'll go back up to the top of the list. WB86. Heard you in the pre-check, but you're sounding pretty bad, so we'll mark you there. K8HMS, go ahead.
Yeah, W8VPV, Minette, K8HMS. Hope you're happy to be okay. Yeah, good evening again. Whoever is out there radio land. And, yeah, I guess that's about it. Thank you, Thomas, for running so fast. Really appreciate it. And, one thing a little bit, when you were talking to Jim, WA8RCN, and, just interesting talk. And, been doing this 65 years, so, I can relate with, a lot of the stuff you were talking about. So, anyhow, back to you, KHMS.
Thanks for stopping by, Steve. K8YTG was in and out. Larry, K8PU, you're up.
Good evening, Thomas. Everybody on the net. Well, nothing new to add from 2 meters. Like I say, condolences to Anthony and his family. And enjoying this, this ferocious winter. Man, this is my kind of winter. I can handle this. So I just hope it keeps up because we're past the halfway point. And since the antenna's not getting a big thrill out of all that. Back to you, Thomas, and we'll catch everybody next week. W8VPV, Cape View.
Thanks for stopping by, Larry. And Frank, I know you had a bad signal at W8EZT. Do you want to jump in real quick and say hi?
We'll give it a try here. I'm sitting at about a 4-to-1 SWR. I got the power cranked down. Just wanted to say, sorry I missed the earlier net, and yeah, this winter is, this has not been bad at all when you think about it. Kids around here, we know this all, and I'm not going to repeat that. Anyway, good hearing everybody in there. And I'll catch everybody, I guess, in a week, about 10 days from now, next meeting. That's it. Back to that W8EZT.
Thanks for stopping by, Frank. All right, this is Whiskey Victor Papa Victor looking for additional check-ins. Please call now.
Whiskey Alpha 8 Radio, Charlie, November.
W8 RCN, sounds good. Go ahead.
Yeah, just say hi to everybody we met again, and yeah, it must be a really long skip, because I can hear you real well, I can hear Frank over there, and I can hear Steve. And it's funny, John, I could barely hear him. He's just on the other side of Cuyahoga Falls, and everybody else is, I guess, one or two. And so I got on here, I got on CW, worked with a guy in Greenland. He was like 20 over 9. So, I mean, it's just a super long skip, I think. That's what's going on here. So anybody, within, a half mile or something, I can hear. Anybody that's further than that, it's like, wow. It's just too long for me. Anyway. Say hi to everybody and go back over to you, W8VPV, W8RCN.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by. You came through real clear there. Yep, there's a lot of noise coming from just about everywhere. All right, this is Whiskey Victor Papa Victor looking for any additional check-ins. Please call now. I'm not hearing anybody. W3X, are you able to hear anybody else? John, I got you. You were about half the strength you were before. Go ahead, Frank.
I thought the last part of that call was YPM. I heard him pretty clearly here, but wasn't paying attention, so the call blew right past me. Station call, he said he was in and out, but station calling, give it a try again if you're still there. Top here, tuning up. Back to that W8EZT.
All right, thanks for that. James, did W3X sound any better to you that last time?
John, you were probably twice as strong as you were before, but you're still about S6 or something. I mean, it's kind of weird. So the first antenna, you're about S2 or 3. This one, you're about 5 or 6.
The opposite of that there, John. You're about an S2 on that one, and you're much better on the other. But I can still hear you, which is important. All right, I think we're at the bottom of the list. We have one more try and see if everybody wants to check in. If anybody hears somebody that I don't, let me know. This is Whiskey Victor Papa Victor. Last call for check-ins. Please call now. this evening's net. At this time, we'll close the net with 8 check-ins and return the frequency to normal customary amateur use. This has been Whiskey Inc. Victor Papa Victor, closing the net at 9:41 p.m. local time, 73.
Yeah, I just got to call you, Steve. KHMS. I was just reaching for the mic. W8RCN, yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, yeah. Just wondered, well, I'll tell you, I was in, once the conference this weekend, and not much, I was only on a couple hours, God, I only think I worked, I don't know, maybe 100 stations or something, but when I heard you say you worked about 800, I was really impressed, and also, about running mobile with the key on your right run and running CW. I never had a chance to do that. And, been doing this stuff 65 years and a lot of CW, but not as good as I used to be W8RCN KHMS.
Yeah, okay, Steve, real good. W8RCN. That was back, back when I first started with Cisco. I think probably like, really tired, probably 30 years ago. And I had a old F-150, and it was a 5-speed, and that was a heck of a big radio, a TS-130, and I had it wedged between, and that was a truck where you four-wheel drive, you had 2 shifters in it. Remember those old F-150s? I had the 5-speed, and then I had the small one next to it that shifted in and out the differential between 2 and 4-wheel drive, right? So I had the radio like wedged in between the seat and between the bottom of the gear shift. So it was flying it kind of up. And then I had, I think I used the speaker in the radio. I don't know if I had an external speaker or not, but anyway. And then I had a key. I had a big old key. It was an Artec Research AU1K or AT1K or something. It was probably, 5 inches by 5 inches by 6 inches, and it sat on the seat because the radio didn't have a keyer. And then I had an old keyer panel I set on the seat. And then I would send CW, and then the gear. Shift the gear. I mean, it was probably a dangerous as hell thing to do, but man, I ran that thing in that truck for years like that before I got rid of the truck, and then I got a newer truck, and you couldn't put the radio in the truck because the radio was too big. So, we didn't have all the nice things that we have today in these small little radios, KHMS, W8RCN. Yeah, and you're right, yeah, the way stuff is nowadays is a lot different, and, I was reading the deal a little bit on you guys, and, some of the elders and all this stuff, because I'm going back to the mid-50s, but yeah, one friend of mine, I saw his got in his car and he had a single radio in there and it was all, all tube stuff, and I thought, wow, this is really neat. But anyway, yeah. And yeah, I was just wondering, not that I'm Okay, Steve, well, no problem. Yeah, KHMS, W8RCN. Okay, so you come up Stills Corners, up out of the valley, and then you cross Northampton, and you know where Haas Road is, right? So you come down Haas Road. As soon as you turn, you can only turn left on Haas, right? You can't turn right because there's no road. So you got to turn left. there's two brand new houses there, theirs and mine. So if you turn left on House Road, they're the first house on the second house. And then I usually have I got an F-150 blue pickup truck, 4x4, sitting in the driveway, because, I got so much crap in the I got a 2-car garage, and I can't get the truck in the garage, right? We got my mama's pilot in there, and the other one's like a shed. I got all kinds of stuff in there, lawnmowers and everything. Anyway, the second house on the left, and probably, 100 feet, 125 feet from the road. That's how long the driveway is, so I'm not real far back in there, because I got a lake behind the house, and we're like, the house is, I think, 60 feet from the lake, so I couldn't go back any further, and it's as far back as I can go. They could build a house, and we'd still be structurally sound and everything. So anyway, second house on the left off a house.
So, yeah, I have to kind of take a peek the next time I'm up around that way. And, because I'm up steel corners all the time. And did you have any problem with, with the city to put a tower up or anything?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like, I tell you what's a good landmark. If you come down House Road, like across the street from me is a ranch, and just down from that is a big colonial. But then in their backyard, they got that great big antenna tower. So a great big antenna tower is like directly across from me. You know what I'm talking about?
That's, I know what you're talking about. I've been there forever.
Yeah, I think when I was in my younger days, I think they had radar dishes on there or something, for the warning or looking out from the Russians when they would shoot the missiles or something. I mean, that thing's been up there for 100 years. Probably not that long, but you know what I'm talking about. And now I think the city owns it, and they use it for city vehicles or some for emergency or something. So, yeah. So anyway, going back to I did, because you're around 50 feet in Cuyahoga Falls, and that tower is, and the way they interpret that is from the tippy top of the antenna to the ground is 50 feet. So if you put up a 50-foot tower and then you put up a 10-foot mast, you're over 50 feet. So the top of whatever the top of the tower is. So I'm going to be at like 70 feet. Maybe I could squeak a few more feet, and it's like, who knows? I'm not going to go from chest, but anyway. Yeah, I had to get variances and go to zoning board meetings and go down to the county engineers and get permits and have them do inspections. And oh yeah, there was a lot of red tape I had to go through to get all that done, but I did it.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, wow. That's, well, thankfully, they got that you could do that. And, being where you are, you're certainly not going to be bothering anybody. So, looking at it or whatever. And, and unfortunately, my whole amateur radio career, I've never been able to have anything other than, just the last 8 to
RCN. Yeah, Roger, I know. And hey, anytime you're down this way, you'd stop in. Just wherever. I'm always home. And usually, most of the time, I'm outside doing something. I stayed inside this weekend because it was so damn cold and it was lousy, plus the contest was going on, and I started playing around with that, and I thought, well, I'm going to screw out this contest just a little bit and make a few hundred contacts, and I started getting messing around with it. Next thing you know, I just really, went at it, and I ended up with about 800 contacts, and here's how good the bands were. Let me tell you, I was running a KW on 80 meters and on 40 meters. On 80 meters, I had an inverted V at 60 feet. So that worked real well. And on 40 meters, I had a vertical with about 8 radios in the ground that's out in the woods, and that worked real well. Then on 20, 15, and 10, I used the 80-meter inverted V at 60 feet, ran it through the antenna tuner for 20, 15, and 10, so Lord knows how much power is going to the antenna, because the SWR is just, way out of sight. And I'm just fooling the radios, making 50 ohms so the radio don't burn up. And, I ran that antenna on those 3 bands, 20, 15, and 10. And I'm looking at my summary sheet, and on 20 I worked 117 guys, on 15, 250, and 10 meters, 200. With one hell of a mismatch, you know what I mean? And that tells you how good the bands were. I mean, on CW on 10 meters, I don't know if you noticed, but man, those guys were up to 125, and on 15 they were up to 150, I mean, it wasn't a clear spot on the band, so, I just did a lot of hunting and pecking because I couldn't run them much. And one time I did run them on 15 meters for a couple hours with that low power and that stinky antenna, and I was working, a couple hours, probably like 100 guys. And most of the time I just hunted and pecked because, I had no superstation, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, wow, that's great, yeah. Yeah, I've noticed that too, that, I've been kind of away from operating a little bit here, the last couple months, but yeah, I think sunspot cycles coming in, they end up picking up, and, I was surprised the other night, it wasn't in the DX contest, but yeah, I worked Japan on 15 meters, and I thought, that's pretty cool, I guess things are looking up, and, and I worked where was it on 15, that Robin Caruso Island, I worked them, so, yeah, it's nice to do that, I've been through quite a few sunspot cycles, and, it's nice to see it coming back, and actually hitting people on 10, 15, but, boy, I was nowhere near the, quantity you were working, but I wasn't doing much, I was just doing a little hunt and peck, and, kind of snoop around a little bit, but I commend you for as well as you've done. And yeah, speaking of mismatches, I'm running this thing 40 meters on, I got my dipole tuning for the lower part of 40, and up here I'm running my 60-meter dipole with my MSD tuner, and so 60-foot long wire with my MSD tuner, so yeah, I guess I know about mismatches, but
Oh yeah. I mean, that's, you do what you gotta do, right? And, I was using that EX1 vertical on 40 meters. It's like 33 feet long, and it works really, really good. And I was running that through the tuner on, 40, 20, 15, and 10. And then, I started playing with this inverted V on 80 meters and running that on 80, 40, 20, 15, and 10. Because I think that works better in the vertical, especially on 10 meters. I don't know. I mean, they're both too long, but I worked a bunch of stuff on 10 meters, and I used that inverted V, and it worked a lot better than the vertical. And I just ran 100 watts, and it worked out really, really well. Last year, I was running one of the amplifiers, and just kind of a dangerous thing to do while I was running the radio. Put the internal tuner into the amplifier, and the amplifier just into the whatever the hell the antenna was, and the SWR was. I didn't care. I just loaded the amp, you know. And I should have had another tuner in there or something, right? But and then all of a sudden, you know, the thing really got hot, and I started drawing a lot of grid current. I thought I blew one of the tubes out, and you know, I thought, well, I'm not going to do that again. And now it's working okay and everything, but and I started drawing any grid current. But well, I could go away. I ruined an amplifier, but you know, all the stuff I got is Dentron amplifiers and tuners. And I got all the spare parts because I worked there for like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. I was a production manager there, so if one of these blows up, I just pull it off the line and go fix it and put it back on again. But I didn't do it this time because, yeah, I don't know. I just don't want to blow anything up. It's a pain in the butt, take everything apart and fix it, you know. But I got all the parts to do it all, so I mean, I'm good at that. But you know, I just started trying a lot, and man, oh man, yeah, the bands are coming back, and you know, the thing is, you were probably around before I was in the 50s, late 50s, and that was phenomenal, they tell me. And their next Sunspot cycle was really, really good, and it wasn't as good as the 50s, but you know, I tell people, you know, the bands are good now, and you just don't know what it's like. Back in the 50s, I don't know, but just from what I hear from the old timers. And then in the 60s, we had like solar fluxes that were like 350, 360, you know? And it's like, they don't even come close. They're not even half of that now, and the bands are good. And I said, can you imagine, you know, if they were that high and what the band, I mean, like 20 meters is open 24 hours a day, 15 might have been open, you know, 18, 20, 10 meters is open probably 18 hours. I mean, you just don't see it like it used to be, you know what I mean? I don't think it's ever going to be that way again. But, you know, they're coming around, they're doing good, but, you know, back in the 50s, in the 60s, they were just phenomenal. KHMS, W8RCN.
Yeah, W8RCN, KHMS. Oh, yeah, you're right. You know, like I say, I got my license in 57, and, oh, yeah, it was great back then, and, you know, I just, you know, back in those days, but not much, you know, I was running 75 watts, and, you know, back to the old high-volt stuff at my mom's house in the fall, and then I got away from it for a long time, but then I got back into it again, and, you know, I worked up in Hudson, and I grew up a whole bunch of dipoles, and I think I was around 79 or so, and, yeah, things were good back then, and you know, it's just nice to see it coming back, and, you know, there's, you know, I don't know, a lot of these guys getting into this stuff now are into this, you know, digital stuff and everything, and I don't know, I just can't get into it. I kind of get upset sometimes when I see, you know, some of the expeditions, maybe they're just on FT8 or something. I was able to run FT8 here, but something, I don't know, something happened with the computer, and I can't do it now, but I'm just not big on that, you know, I'm, you know, more into the CW and sideband, so, but yeah, it's just nice to see things coming back, and I see we're getting I can't think of it, what we're getting on our repeater, you know, which would be nice, but, you know, a lot of guys say, well, that's not radio and all that, but, you know, but anything you can do to you know, to kind of keep guys getting interested and all that, because it's sad now that not many people are in the radios and ham radio, and, you know, I was big into trains, and, you know, that's kind of dwindled out, so, yeah, sometimes it's kind of sad with all the computers and everything.
Yeah, Roger, I agree with you. And, you know, I used to talk with an old friend of mine, and you know, he was licensed like you back in the 50s, and he used to tell me how great it was and everything, and, you know, he's dead and gone now, but, you know, I'm just thinking like in today's environment and today's, you know, radios, can you imagine what it would have been like back in the 50s and 60s if they had the technology they have today, the radios they have today, and the antennas the guys got today? I mean, it would have been just totally bizarre. You're right, back then it was like, you know, you'd save your money from a paper route or something and get $100 and you could buy a receiver and a transmitter. You know, it was a piece of junk, but it got you on the air. You only put up a wire, right? And today it's like, oh my God, it's, I tell my wife, it's, you know, ham radio isn't ham radio like it used to be. And I don't agree with this FT8 stuff. They can take it and just, you know, I have nothing to do. I just don't care about that. And I just don't think it's ham radio. And I was kind of explaining to her about that and showing her what it sounded like on the radio and how they work each other for like 10 seconds or something. And she goes, well, what fun is that? And I go, it's just not ham radio to me. I just don't, you know, care for that. A lot of guys do, and hey, that's their cup of tea, I guess. But yeah, I just and then the thing anymore too, when we were growing up as kids and first license, I mean, you know, when I was first married, you know, I had a 50-foot union metal pole in the backyard, and I had a 4-element cubicle quad on a 30-foot boom. And it was 4 elements on 20, 4 on 17, 4 on 15, 4 on 10. And I had 1,000 foot of wire up there. And I had a big Teltwister rotor, and I had to go into a Drake switch box, and I could switch the antennas in the house with one feed line. And, you know, back then, in the late 70s, that was one heck of a big antenna. You know what I mean? Most guys had nothing like that. And today it's nothing. I was telling my wife, I said, that's what makes it, I still like contesting, and I like CW, and that's what I do, but, I mean, it's kind of discouraging in a way, because it's a game of money, you know? A lot of times on the phone, I look up the call signs of guys that I hear in contests that I never hear any other time. And, you know, they got 4 and 5 and 6 towers, and I'm going, God, they got $250,000, $500,000 in antennas and towers and get on the edges for the contest. I go, this is nuts, you know? Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, and you on FTA, yeah,
Okay, Steve, KHMS, W8RCM. Yeah, well, WLL, Globe Trent, I remember those, you know. I tell you what I did, I got a long time ago, I bought about a year's worth of QSTs from 1965, and that's when I got licensed. And, every once in a while, I just love sitting down and looking at that stuff, just going back, you know what I mean, and just looking at all that and going, oh my gosh, this is the way it was, and this is what we have for equipment, and looking at the advertisements and stuff and everything, and just seeing what was available. And I had a Night Kit T150A, you probably remember that, and then I had an MC188 receiver, and it had a sensitivity of 5, I think it was, and it was like, and somebody said, corrected me and said 0.5. I said, no, it wasn't 0.5. It was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? So you hear the whole band at once, and you had to flip the CW with your ears. And then, and if you bumped the table and the receiver jumped, it would wobble, you know what I mean? And had one of those band spread things in there that would break all the time, and you had to restring it with the strings in the wire. I mean, it was, and that's how I learned how to copy CW. I had, filters? Nah, we never had anything that had filters in it back then. I mean, you couldn't afford that, you know what I mean? And it was just bare bones receiver that was just loud as a barn, man. And it had two knobs on it. One was for the general coverage receiver, but then the other side was the band spread for the ham band or something. You park it on the 7 megapixel thing with the one dial, and then you had a band spread with the other, And man, it was just, I stop and think about those old days, and we had a good time. And then, I stop and think about sometimes there was a station, W8 Bravo Mike, W8BM over in Broadview Heights or something, and he was big time radio with, like a big KW AM and everything, and he had like 300 countries, and I'm going, how the heck did you ever do this on AM, Beck? And how did you work that many guys, all over the world with AM? I mean, I just can't fathom that today. I mean, it's like, working in the Asian stuff with AM, that's just like mind-boggling. Go ahead.
It's just something else that, kind of want to go back, Yeah, Roger, and I still do a lot of that today, and they go, how can you copy that? There's 4 or 5 guys in there. I go, I don't know. I usually, when I dial them in, I go on the low side, so they're pretty low tone, and I just pick them up and just listen, and I can have all the stuff around me, and I just, work the die, and then, I got into VHF too, and did a lot on 6 and 2 meters, and when you do 6 and 2 meters, as you well know, I mean, it's like everybody's up and down, in and out of the noise, and if you develop that resource and figure out how to do that and get pretty good at that, and when you get in the low band, a lot of times,
these signals that are so weak that other people can't even hear, or they could barely hear. They look at me, can you hear that guy? How can you hear that guy? I go, I can hear that guy, you know. Just from, working the VHF spectrum and learning it from there. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. Yeah, and I kind of miss, hopefully it'll come back, but I miss 6 meters, when I got working on that way back when. I really enjoyed 6 meters, working slow and all that, but been listening once in a while and haven't heard a lot, so I don't know. I would think it's coming back now, though, with the sunspots and stuff, but yeah, like you say, you get these guys down in the mud, and it's like, well, how can you hear what they're saying? I said, well, I don't know, you can just hear them, and I just thank God for
Yeah, that's for sure, Steve. KHMS, W8RCN, and that's like, I've got chainsaws and lawnmowers and writing, I got a realtor, and boy, we are hearing protection all the time when I'm running that stuff. And I attribute that my hearing being so good, I'm able to copy these signals and the noise and everything. Because I got, 72 years old, I got good hearing, and it's because I protect it, all the time. If I'm not shooting a gun or something, I got earplugs on, or I got, earmuffs on, and I do the same thing when I'm running, weed eaters and chainsaws and lawnmowers and everything in the yard. I always wear them all the time, and I think it makes all the difference in the world. And, like you said, you just filter with your ears and just kind of hear these guys in there, and it's like, in 80 meters this weekend, I worked 79 stations in 42 countries, and probably more than half of them I could barely hear. They're down in the noise. And normally, if you just blow by them. But I would just tune ever so slowly and start at one end and go up to the other end until I hit FT8 and go back down again with 102nd, and just barely turning in, just listening so hard that, my eyes were watering, And sometimes I'd listen to the guy 3 or 4 times to get his call because I was just getting bits and pieces. But the weird thing about that is, even if you don't have his whole call, and I would call him, I could hear my call coming back, and then I would have to sit a while, maybe a couple rounds and get his call, but I'd eventually get it. But the weird thing, like I said, you can hear your call, but you don't always get his. It takes 2 or 3 times,
and make sure that you're right.
Yeah, boy, you're lucky there. You're lucky there because you go back that far and they didn't even think about ear protection or even worry about it then. But, yeah, today it's like, man, you know, I watch all that to make sure because I can hear you squeaking. You're like me, yeah, you're working and then you sit there and you got to, you know, I didn't get his power, so now I got to wait till there's 2 or 3 other guys and he comes up out of the noise to get it, you know, before I hit the enter key, you know what I mean, and move on. Because, you know, I've set logs when I've worked on the contest, and the ARRL contest, these guys, I don't think they check their logs at all very well, or they don't check them at all, period. CQ Worldwide, man, you know, they just bounce everybody's log against everybody, and then, you know, you'll get an email back, and you'll get, you know, all the discrepancies in your log. I mean, they just, man, they go through with a fine-tooth comb. Well, let me tell you, buddy, I ain't doing any. I use a paper log. I use a paper log for all my daily contacts. And then when I run a contest, I use write log, and that's on the computer. Now, here's the other thing. You got a nice new radio. All my radios are like 30 years old, except for the one I'm on now, the ICOM 746 Pro. This might be 15 years old. I don't know. But I got a TS850 SAT. And then I've got 2 Omni 6 Pluses, and so I had another TS850 SAT that I got rid of because I didn't think I needed that many radios. I still don't need this many, but anyway. I don't think they even make an interface between the Kenwood and between the Tentecs that hook up to the computer, you know what I mean? So what I've developed here over the years, you're going to chuckle out of this, I've got a keyer that I use in the TS850 SAT when I use that and program it for the contesting exchanges. For the Tentecs, they got a keyer, but it's not a memory keyer, so I got external keyers that I got to program. So I sit there and push keyers with my right hand, and then I do my logging and typing with my left hand. So my left hand's going and my right hand's going sometimes at the same time. And I'm typing the guy's calling and typing exchange in and pushing buttons on the keyer with the other hand because I don't have anything interfaced to the radio. Go ahead.
Oh, my God. Oh, that's unreal. Well, man, I commend you for that, yeah, because I'm bad on the computer, you know, I just do the hunt and peck and, you know, that's what, you know, kind of upsets me, you know, like during field day or whatever, it's nice for me to have a logger because it can just punch it in, but, you know, if you're trying to sit there by myself, you know, I'll do whatever the exchange and all that, and, you know, waste, you know, however many seconds trying to hunt and peck and get it in the computer, but, yeah, that's great that you can do that, yeah, that's unreal, and you know, that's, you know, something I'm sure a lot of people can't do, but, yeah, I can probably, I have the 820,000 feet here, and, you know, I'm sure I could, you know, interface it somehow with the computer, but, just
Yeah, and I think I can do the ICOM 746 Pro, but it's a terrible CW radio. I just don't like it. I like the crystal filters in the Kenwood and the Pentec radios. This one here is all DSP, and it's like, man, I just don't like the sound of it. You know, it's like oops, sorry, I don't like the sound of it, and I just don't like it on CW, so I use this one on sideband, and sometimes on CW if I'm just, rag shooting with guys or just during the week or something in the contest, I use the other radios, mostly the Kenwood. I like the Kenwood better than the Downeast 6 Pluses, which are probably a better radio, but, I mean, everything I got's older than dirt, you know what I mean? And, I don't know, I just run with it, and, with today's prices and all that and everything, some of these radios, I mean, you could spend, $4,000 or $5,000, and I go, shoot me, I spend that on $5,000 on a radio, It's like, there's no way. I mean, I had at one particular point in time an FT1000MP, that was a nice radio, but man, I couldn't even figure out how to use it half the time, and finally I said, it's like way over my head. And even the QSA50 SAT, I use half the stuff on there, where the Omni 6 Pluses are much more simpler, and they're still menu driven, but not as bad. But I'm just not a geeky guy, and a techie guy or whatever. I'm just, I don't know, you could have these $5,000 radios, and I'd be lucky if I knew how to turn a thing on, KHMS, W8RCN. The other thing I tell anybody getting into ham radio, if you're going to have a couple of radios, they're all got to be the same brand or whatever. You cannot have a Yaesu radio, an Icom radio, a Kenwood radio, a Ten-Tech radio, and whatever, and learn how to operate them and understand them and do well and learn how to operate them and operate them well, and like this Icom 746 Pro, it's menu driven, it's 4 or 5 levels down, and each one's got 4 or 5 or 6 things in it, and it's like, and if you don't use it, like you said, you could set it up one time or something, and if you don't do anything with it for a while, then you forget. So now you got 5 different brand radios, and they're all different. I mean, if you're going to buy all Icom or Kenwood or Yaesu or something, they're all similar, you know what I mean?
I just got used to them, and Kenwood or something. One was a Kenwood I saw somewhere, and I looked it up. I think it was like $12,000, and I said, you gotta be kidding me. I can't believe it's that much. And I don't know, it's got to operate by itself or something if you're paying that much.
Yeah, I've seen those too, and my thoughts, because I used to work for Denton Radio. I was a production manager, and it's like, okay, from that perspective, I'm thinking, how much money and research and development did you put in this $12,000 radio, and how many are you going to sell to recoup your investment costs, and how are you going to sell to make a profit? I mean, not too many people are going to go out and buy a $12,000 radio, you know what I mean? Why they even did that, I got no idea.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. Oh, wow, that's a great word, Centron. Wow, that's interesting. But, I don't know. But some of these superstations, I see, the stuff they got there. In fact, I think,
Yeah, Paul Seagrave, he's so down the road from me in Stowe there. He was in Hudson. I used to be able to get on my tower, and I'd see McCracken's W8VPV, his towers. I'd see Paul Seagrave, NLAD, his towers. It was kind of like a big triangle, you know what I mean? And no, you're right. And K3LR, Tim Duffy, he's... Man, we were novices together. I don't know if you knew that or not. Probably not. But, yeah, we were, he's same age as me. I'm same age as... We were novices together back in the day.
Oh, wow. No, I didn't realize that. How darn. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, a couple dogs that publishing stuff. Seems like you're a great guy. And, I was there for almost 40 years, and you remember his tower fair and stuff, when he lived out there, and then, the work and all that, but he's just more or less up around the corner from me now. Here in Peninsula, but, pretty close. I get guy from all I know, but he's got to have it. I guess nice thing if you can do it.
Oh yeah, he's got more money than whatever, you know what I mean, to do that. And when he left Hudson, I thought there's no way he was going to move all that stuff, and he did. And when he lived in Hudson too, he had all those antennas on the other side of the road, right? And somehow, I don't know how, again, money talks, right? He was able to bore underneath the road to get to the other side, to get the antennas, get the feed lines to the house, you know what I mean? I mean, it's like, you just don't do that, right? But somehow he managed that. And, he owns, from my understanding, Summit Raceway is the largest mail order house of automobile parts or whatever parts in the world. So that gives you some idea of what he's got going there, you know?
Oh yeah, he's big time, and I think he owns, something in Toledo, drug strip of I can't remember the name of it now, but anyway, at Toledo Way or something, and I've talked to people, just in the parking lot dealership,
old house and the new one and all that's going on. I'm moving out to the new place on I forget what is that, Woodward, anyway. But, I used to drive from Cisco when I worked there and come down Everhard Road there, I guess, and as you go down in the fall and everything, you guys see cranes over there, cranes working on stuff, and they would be there for like weeks at a time, and I just go, oh my God, that's going to cost a fortune. But anyway, he just had everything all put up and erected, and I can remember when he was in Hudson, they had flatbed trucks, and they had spools of cable on there. So the feed lines that were like, the spools had to be like 6, 8 feet tall or something, you know what I mean? And they had backhoes digging the trenches, and I just going, oh my God, this is a game of money, Fred Niehaus.